For Life was started almost 30 years ago with this idea, and it was an idea and really a vision from David Lisenby that the center of all health is immune system health. And that's, of course, why we call ourselves the Immune System Company. Of course, we also call ourselves For Life Research, and that's because research is really a central part of everything that we do. It really starts there. Ingredients, products, formulas, all start with research. And what was truly visionary with David's beginnings at For Life was his realization that the immune system is central to all areas of health. And at the time, and we're talking about the 1990s, that was a pretty revolutionary idea. We, of course, knew a lot about the immune system. What we didn't know is the connection of the immune system to other areas of health, digestive health, brain health, cardiovascular health. We'll learn about here in a little bit. And really, since that time, there's been so much research that has led us to just really lean into this idea that the immune system is a key part of our overall health. And that's really how we differentiate ourselves from other companies. And we do that through the discovery or the invention of transfer factor peptides. And of course, this was discovered many, many years ago in the 1940s by Dr. Sherwood Lawrence. He actually discovered it in blood. And what he found is that if he took these little things, he didn't know what they were, he didn't know they were peptides, but if he took these things that he called factors and took them from one person to another, it could actually help them, help their wellness in a very unique and profound way. Of course, that research has gone on to essentially become cell-mediated immunity. But it was really that pioneering discovery of these transfer factors. And in the 1990s, David Lisenby found a patent to be able to pull out of these transfer factors out of colostrum, so not blood, colostrum, and pull these out in a way where we could concentrate these small little peptides and put them in a powder, put them in a capsule, and create this wonderful immune product. Something that we now know as transfer factor peptides. Of course, many of you probably know peptides are really, really big right now. A lot of people are talking about peptides. Of course, we've been doing peptides for now almost 30 years, so it's nothing new to us. We feel now like the world is starting to catch up a little bit. And that's good to see, because as people start to understand that, then it makes it a more compelling discussion topic for people going out there talking about transfer factors. If you can go out there and you say, these are peptides, you've heard about the benefits of peptides, we have peptides, these are smart immune peptides. And it makes that conversation much, much easier. And over the course of these 30 years, we've done so much global research. And I say global because the research isn't always happening just in Utah at For Life headquarters. Most of that research is going on all around the world. It goes on in Asia, it goes on in India. We've done quite a bit of research studies in India. We've done research studies, of course, in the US, in South America, all across the continent. We have done this research. And so it's really global research. And the fruits of that research has been in the form of publications. So we have nearly 30 different peer-reviewed publications. So in the science world, this is really how we validate the research, is that we publish it. It goes under a peer review process that allows other scientists to critique it, to criticize it, to question it, and we have to be able to answer all those questions. And if we can publish this research, it is essentially validating that this is good research, it's sound research, it's worth sharing to the world. And of course, we do that also through patents. So we have now, I think, over 80 international patents. We have a number of provisional patents, a number of patents pending. All of these patents are going to carry us well into the 2030s. And that's really important for us and for you, because it protects our formulas, it protects our research. And by protecting our formulas, protecting our research, it also protects you as a business builder, because you can go out there and talk about these products, talk about these ingredients, talk about these discoveries that no one else has. And that gives you a little bit of a ammo in going out there and being able to talk. These aren't normal products. These are very unique, very specific products, very powerful products that you can go out there and talk about and know that there's no competition out there, because we are the ones who have transfer factor. We're the ones who have patents on these formulas. And that's really key for a company that is very much rooted in research. So let's talk just for a second about what is transfer factor. These are, as I mentioned earlier, these are peptides, right? These are immune signaling peptides. They have an immune benefit. When we consume them, we see an improvement in our immune system. Of course, they're derived from colostrum. That's where the first discovery was back in the 90s. David Lisenby licensed that patent, that ability to pull out these peptides, to concentrate these small peptides out of colostrum to give an immune benefit. A few years later, we actually discovered them in chicken egg yolk, which again kind of makes sense, because when you think about bovine colostrum, right, we're talking about mammals. Mammals pass along their immune wisdom to their offspring through colostrum. Reptiles, and in this case, birds, pass it along through eggs, through the chicken egg yolk. And so we find these transfer factor peptides in chicken egg yolk as well. And now we're going to talk about some of the most recent discoveries that we've been working on, and that is transfer factor from plants. Now, this is the culmination of about 7 years worth of research. And it all started with a question in a call, much like we have here, asking, is there a vegan form of transfer factor? Now, we had been spending years and years and years trying to figure out that next advancement of transfer factor. In fact, I remember talking about it when I was in India, nearly 10 years ago. What's the next innovation of transfer factor? And we didn't know. We had been working on it. We didn't really know, but it wasn't until we got that question from an affiliate that really changed the course of the research for the next 5 years, looking for transfer factor in plants. Now, that research covered over 10,000 different plants that we evaluated. Many of these plants come from India, so they're Ayurvedic. And ultimately, what we found is these peptides, these transfer factor-like peptides in Brassica seeds. And we didn't know that we would find them in seeds. Now, we were looking at flowers, we were looking at roots, we were looking at stems, all parts of the plant. And lo and behold, we find them in seeds. And as you start to think about it, it kind of makes sense to find them in seeds, right? Because as mammals pass along their immune wisdom, they do it through colostrum to their offspring. Chickens do it through eggs, through their yolk. How do plants pass along their immune wisdom? They do it through the seeds. So these transfer factor peptides are found in seeds. That's where we found them. If we probably would have thought about it, we probably should have started looking at seeds right from the beginning. But we just didn't know. We didn't even know if transfer factors existed in plants until we started doing this study. And lo and behold, we find them in seeds. So that has spawned this whole new area of research that there's still so much to do. But right now we are translating this discovery into an ingredient that can go into different formulas. And in the US, we've launched a couple of vegan transfer factor products. These are the types of products that you can imagine will be coming to India. We're not quite there yet, but just imagine that this is going to be coming to India, because this is a huge discovery for us. And we're super, super excited about it. It opens up a whole new demographic for us, not just vegans, but people who are very much interested in a plant-based diet. And we know that is a real trend. That is something that is changing how we think about foods, how we think about our health from a plant-based diet standpoint. Now, I want to just share a video that kind of captures the discovery of this. And so I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll continue on.
At For Life, Innovation begins in nature and comes alive through science. Over 5 years of research, hundreds of plant species studied, a bold investment in the future of immune system health. It all led to one breakthrough, the most significant discovery in immune peptide technology in 70 years. Welcome to the birthplace of Phyto Factor. It starts with Brassica napus, once prized only for its oil, now a powerful source of immune-supporting peptides. First, the seeds are cold pressed to remove the oil. What remains from the seed is called a press cake. Using a gentle water-based method, the peptides are extracted. Soluble fractions are separated from insoluble fractions. Then comes proprietary membrane filtration, purifying the peptide solution without harsh chemicals or heat. Finally, the purified peptides are spray dried, creating for life Phyto Factor, clean, concentrated, and bioactive. Every step is backed by quality. Our certified facility meets the highest global standards for food safety and consistency. And thanks to mild processing, we preserve the peptide's natural functionality so they perform exactly as nature designed. Sustainably sourced, scientifically advanced, engineered for the future of immune system health. This is Phyto Factor, only from 4Life.
So one of the things that, there's a couple things that came out of this research. One, we just saw the discovery of plants, of transfer factor in plants. And that's huge because that translates into new ingredients. It opens up new markets for us. It translates into wonderful products. But one of the things that really struck me is that we also found the link between how all species, whether they're animals, whether they're plants, how all species share a code. Because in our DNA is designed to produce offspring and protect those offspring. And the commonality, whether you're talking about plants or animals, is that there's a shared biology for surviving threats, health threats, disease, and that biology is translated and encoded in the DNA to produce peptides, these peptides. And what we found in this work is that these peptides are what we call biosimilar. They're similar in size, they're similar in sequence, they're similar in functionality. And so we really have this, we've really unlocked this code of how we as animals, as mammals and reptiles and birds and plants, how we protect themselves. And that code is written into these peptides. And so that opens up this whole new area of research that we can interrogate and understand how do we, as a species, protect ourselves, and how can we leverage that research into ingredients, into products, into formulas to really help benefit our health. And that was really a key piece that we learned through this, is that connection between plants and animals and how we can leverage that understanding, that research into new products. And so I think that was as big of a discovery as the actual discovery of transfer factor in plants, because now it opens up this whole new way of thinking about how we protect ourselves. And when I say how we protect ourselves, I'm really talking about how the immune system can function, how we can better help our immune system give us the benefits that it was designed to. And these peptides that we're talking about, these are ancient peptides that are passed along from generation to generation to generation, ancient immune peptides. And that's what we found with these transfer factors. And I think that's a really important part of this discovery effort that is now in year 7. Now, you might ask, this whole research, we've discovered this ancient plant immune intelligence, but how does that really apply to our modern day, right? We aren't living in ancient times anymore. We're living in a modern society where there's all kinds of constant health threats. And so what happens when we take these ancient immune peptides and pair it up against this modern stressful lifestyle where we have lots of things to think about, lots of health issues to be concerned with? And this was actually a study that we did to show how we can connect these ancient immune peptides with a modern society. So let's watch this video.
Every day, your body's immune system faces health threats. From the fast pace of modern life to the invisible challenges all around us. When left unchecked, those threats can spread fast. But what if there was a way to support your body's defenses, to flatten the health threat curve? That's where 4Life Phyto Factor comes in. Plant-powered support engineered by nature to help your body's immune system stay active, balanced, and at the ready. Under a laboratory microscope, you can actually see and count the number of health threats. In one experiment, the health threats multiply unchallenged. But in another experiment, the threats stop spreading and begin to die. The red cells you see here are the dead health threats, neutralized by an immune system supported with 4Life Phyto Factor. What does this tell us about a plant-based transfer factor? It works together with our immune system to flatten the health threat curve. Because when your immune system is educated and activated, you're ready to take on life's ups and downs.
So these are the experiments that part of the experiments that we have done to understand how this discovery translates into immune system health. It's just one of many studies that we've been doing. We have clinical studies that we have completed that give us really good confidence in how transfer factor from plants works. And so it's a really exciting time to be at 4Life. It's exciting in the sense that we've opened up this whole new area of research. And really, it creates this new era of immune support by combining what we've always known, what we've always loved, these animal-based peptides, these immune peptides that we call transfer factor. But now, as we incorporate plants into it, we are leveraging the immune wisdom of plants with the immune wisdom of animals, which ultimately brings in a broader sort of immune communication, a broader sort of immune support type of product. And of course, it also opens up the door for vegan-friendly products. And so that's something to be able to look forward to in the near future.